Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYGO with a YGO Omega Daily Duel video playing some Mystic Mine OTK. We're stuck going first, and this hand doesn't do anything going first, I don't think. Could be worth setting an evenly matched, but this is not really what we're trying to do. We are very much a blind second deck. Opponent is on 44 cards, activates Pot of Extravagance. Okay, maybe opponent is also playing a Mystic Mine deck. Plays Ledger of Ledger Main, banish 3. This does look like a Lilith, Lady of Lament. Well, evenly matched will be good if we get to keep it. Tributes the Lady. Gets 3 Trickstar Reincarnation. I don't know what our opponent's playing. Interesting. Set 1, set 2, set 3. Set all 5. Please, opponent, set all 5. Make this evenly. Nope. Goes right to end phase. We draw Gizmek Okami. Opponent activates present card and Trickstar Reincarnation. We lose our hand, draw 5. Does our opponent have a draw? No. Okay. We lost our Amano Wano. I feel like our Gizmek isn't doing anything this matchup. Activate Magical Meltdown. Grab Alistair. It's a good thing our opponent didn't have draw. Also, I feel like it's a visual bug right now, because I definitely have the setting to where our field spells should show up, but they're not. Our opponents are, though. So, activate Alistair. These are all one-ofs. Oh my god, a skill drain. Well, we don't really have a good way to play through that. Link off, make Almirage. Link off, make Secure Gardna. Light for Honest, go to battle, hit our opponent. Opponent's down to 6,000, main phase 2, not going to activate the mine, pass the turn, counter on Ledger. Opponent sets 1, sets 2, passes. Well, the third evenly is not at all what we wanted. Reincarnation, we get another new hand. Opponent can definitely see what we're up to now. Extrav, banish 6, draw. Limiter removal could be good if we ever have a way to get Gizmek down. I think we go ahead and normal Honest. Just put more pressure on the board. Go to battle. Watch our opponent have a Mirror Force. No, opponent takes 1,000. We also didn't draw into Invocation. That would have helped. Alright, opponent's down to 39. So dead in 2 turns, unless this Ledger does something. We don't have Honest anymore. Opponent draws. Standby, counter on the Ledger. Another Extrav, banish 6, draw 2. Sets 1. We draw Slumber. So we can try to go for game with Jizakuru and Limiter removal. Our opponent, we lose if they have any back row that stops a summon or an attack. But this Ledger will also refill our opponent's hand, then we almost certainly lose. Banish 6. We draw the Invocation. That's good. Normal summon Jizakuru. Why can we not activate Invocation? Oh, because we don't have any Mechabos left in the deck. Go to battle. Declare attack. Opponent is playing Storming Mirror Force. Puts it back in our hand, which isn't the worst. This Meltdown is wrecking us because we can't Lightning Storm. Main phase 2. Set Lightning Storm past the turn. Opponent draws. Ledger refills their hand. Nightmare's Steel Cage. So our opponent is trying to mill us? What in the world is this deck? We're down a mine. Present card. We lose our hand. Alright, so we don't have any way to put damage on the board. We're going to set Mystic Mine, turn on Lightning Storm, set Metaverse, activate Lightning Storm? Oh, come on. Curse Seal negates Lightning Storm. Our next Lightning Storm doesn't do anything. Pass the turn counter on the Nightmare Steel Cage. Why are you playing this and not Swords of Revealing Light? Like, if you're playing this to stop attacks. Passes. We draw another mine. Only 8 cards left in our deck. We might actually be losing this. We're not set up to beat the mirror. Okay, opponent is playing Swords Revealing Light. We can't Lightning Storm it, so that's 3 turns. Counter on swords, opponent draws. Sets 1. We draw Demise of the Land. Probably siding that out. Opponent has not indicated they're even capable of special summoning. Pass the turn. End phase, we draw Slumber. Set that. Pass the turn. Swords is gone. Opponent has another swords. So we have no out to the swords. So we need a way to put enough damage on the board to win the game. Another Slumber, which I'm not even convinced is in our deck. And we need our opponent to not have another way to prevent us from attacking. I don't want to early scoop, but there's almost no possible way we're getting out of this. Does like a nib. Okay, looking at our banish, looking at our grave, there's the other nib. Well, go to the end phase. Opponent loses the swords. Discard the Lightning Storm we can't use. Opponent sets 1. We draw Demise the Land. Pass the turn. Discard the mine. Opponent activates Duality. And we scoop it up. Alright, so against this, we are not at all set up to beat this deck. So, what? Okay, Demise of the Land doesn't do anything. Lava Golem doesn't do anything. Nibiru doesn't do anything. Bring in Judgment, Cursed Seals, Cosmic, Feather Duster. Gizmek doesn't do anything. Trim a couple Slumbers. Our opponent's not playing any monsters. Trim a Gedarla. Bring in the Inspector Border. The Inspector Border doesn't stop anything our opponent's doing, but it's big and can attack. So we ran into a problem there where we just couldn't put any damage on the board. We're going to go first, which seems odd, but we want to try to set up. We don't want our opponent to set their back row before we set our back row. Normal Alistair. Good thing is our opponent's probably not playing any hand traps. We are down an all Mirage. Can this fuse from hand? Take monsters from your hand, and we can use from field if something invoked. So, summon Mechaba, activate Invocation, grab back a Leister, and pass the turn, I guess. So we can negate a spell on our opponent's turn. Don't have any way to negate a trap. Opponent goes Extrav. I guess we go ahead and negate Extrav. We'll get rid of the terraforming because we don't want to search a mine. Alright, negate and banish Extrav. Steel Cage is fine this early in the game. It doesn't really do much. Ledger of Ledgermaid will get our opponent lots of cards eventually. We would like to draw a trap card, but we're actually not playing that many. We can draw Judgment, Curse Seal evenly. Opponent sets a card, sets a card, sets a card, passes. We draw Cosmic Cyclone's really good. It can hit a skill drain. There's a skill drain. Chain Cosmic, banish skill drain. Opponent chains Metaverse. Well, that's annoying. Gets a Mystic Mine. We weren't attacking, but now we can't activate a Leister. Pass the turn. We do have outs for Mystic Mine in the deck. We, 2 more Cosmic Cyclones and a Feather Duster, so we're not in the worst of shape. Draw a Kaiju that I have a feeling will never be able to activate. Steel Cage dies, opponent draws. This is one of the... Alright, we draw a trap card, few turns too late, pass the turn. Ledger gets our opponent a full hand. Wonder if Omega. So I don't think Omega's matchmaking is that sophisticated, but it would be some kind of justice that the 2 Mystic Mine decks get paired up against each other, so other people don't have to deal with it. Opponent activates Duality, reveals a Lava Golem, grabs another Duality, sure. Opponent is actually... Judgment's a good draw. We are very happy to have that. Set the Judgment, pass the turn. Also not clear what our opponent's win con is, other than decking us out. Activates Duality. Duality, Judgment, present card. So I think they are just like like a modern version of Empty Jar. We are also pretty okay with discarding this hand. Opponent activates present card. Guess there's no reason not to chain the limiter removal. This can get the Mechaba off the board. And then the mine dies. Pass the turn. Mechaba dies, mine dies. Lilith, Lady of Lament. Sure. Click really fast to make sure we don't want to completely give away that we have a Judgment. Reveals Reincarnations. That, unfortunately, I think we have to negate because we can't really give up our Invocation. We draw another Judgment. Opponent activates Reincarnation. We activate Judgment. Does opponent Judgment ours? They do. Feather Duster is a good draw. Do we do it now? we can Feather Duster now and then hope they don't... actually, with Fervor here, I think we just win. Activate Feather Duster. Opponent has a Curse Seal, just gives up a mine. Okay. Normal Border. Go to battle. Attack. Opponent activates Storming Mirror Force, but we get this back so we can just keep trying again and again. Main phase 2. Set our Metaverse. Pass the turn. Standby main. Sets a back row. Mirror Forces we're pretty okay with. Mystic Minds we're not. We draw a third Honest. Normal the border. Go to battle. Attack. Alright, Mirror Force again. Bounce it back. Main phase 2. We just need to like sneak one attack through. One attack with the Psychic Fervor will win us the game. And, alright, Swords Revealing Light, so not getting an attack through for a few turns. Standby main, we draw evenly matched, less exciting on turn a million. Normal the Inspector Border. This turns off our opponent's Lilith, I guess. Pass the turn, counter on the swords. Opponent draws, standby main. No mine, no mine. We do still have 2 Cosmic Cyclones in the deck, so we can out a mine. Once use 2 of them. Ledger of Ledgermane. Sure. Will not resolve before opponent loses swords. Opponent thinking through their options. On opponent, what do you have? Maybe our opponent just AFK. They fell asleep. Oh, they Kaiju our Inspectable. We're pretty okay with that. Sure. We draw a Slumber. We'll pass the turn. Counter on the swords. Counter on the Ledgermane. Opponent did give us a Wind Kaiju, not a Light Kaiju, which wasn't super nice of them. Curse Seal is good. We will not complain about drawing that. Set Curse Seal. Pass the turn. Swords is down. Opponent draws. Counter on the Ledger. Activates Pot of Prosperity, banishing 6. Sure, we'll let this go, because we can just Curse Seal whatever they grab. Okay, there's a Mirror Force. Opponent just grabs the mine, though, so we know opponent doesn't have another Storming Mirror Force set. Activates the mine. Absolutely not. Discard Interrupting Kaiju Slumber. It's not doing anything. Opponent has a Judgment. Sure. End phase, we're going to activate Metaverse, thin our deck, add it to hand in case we need to turn off Meltdown for Lightning Storm purposes. We draw Inspector Border. Activate Slumber, search Jizakuru. Set and evenly. Set the Inspector Border. Pass the turn. Opponent draws Skill Drain, refills their hand with the Ledger. But unless they drew the Mirror Force return, we know they don't have that. Summons a Lilith. Activates a Lilith. Present card, Reincarnation, Gift card. Okay. We're fine with that because all of our cards are dead. Opponent banishes 3 for prosperity. Sure. Swords is obnoxious. Grab skill drain. Well, we were not activating a Scadarla, so grabbing a skill drain is fine. We draw another Psychic Fervor. Opponent activates Reincarnation. Was kind enough to give us our Cyclone. Now the question becomes, do we try to shotgun this and hope they don't have Curse Seal, or do we wait until we get a Judgment down? They've only used 1 Curse Seal, so I think we can wait. Set Judgment. Set Curse Seal. Set Cyclone. Flip Summon Inspector Border. And pass the turn. Opponent draws the swords. Opponent gives us a Lava Golem. That doesn't matter. Any monster, any one attack is big enough to kill our opponent now. Opponent sets 1. Goes to the end phase. Cosmic Cyclone, target the mine. I guess we should have waited until after our standby phase, because now we're taking 1,000 from the Lava Golem. We draw. Opponent scoops it up. Could not stop the Lava Golem attack. Alright. I think we definitely should have brought in a Reboot for that. And we can cut a Mystic Mine because our Mystic Mines aren't doing anything. Try it like that. Opponent is almost certainly... Opponent makes us go first. Well, our hand does nothing. Set evenly. Pass the turn. Draw standby main. Prosperity banish 3. We don't see many turn 1 prosperity banish 3, but okay. Uh-oh. Present card and reincarnation are both pretty bad. Losing our duster. Maybe we should have set the duster? I also feel like our opponent has to be playing some kind of mass backer removal. Sets 4. We draw limiter removal. Present card gives us a new hand. Standby main. Yeah, maybe setting duster was the right thing to do. Extrav banish 6. We get Invocation Gadarla. Normal Inspector Border. Enter battle. Smack you for 2,000. Opponent takes it down to 6,000. I feel like every attack we get through against this deck is going to end up being valuable. Main phase 2, we'll set the Judgment. Mostly because I don't think our opponent's going to be outing Inspector Border. Pays 1,000 for skill drain. That's... Our Inspector Border wasn't putting in any work either. That's fine. Opponent activates a mine. We activate a Judgment. Negate mine. We're down to 4,000, but we're attacking and our opponent's not. We draw limiter removal. This is a machine. Good to know. We'll pass the turn. Counter on swords. Well, these limiter removals, if we can sneak an attack through, will be very good. Pass the turn. Counter on the swords. Opponent draws. Standby main. Set Mystic Mine. Pass the turn. Opponent loses the swords. Do we have hope? Do we have hope? Opponent sets a back row. Activates the swords. Standby main. We draw Slumber. Opponent's going to activate present card. Don't want to, like, this is like massive card advantage loss. I don't want to lose the invocation, but Cosmic Cyclone's pretty good. Judgment's pretty good. Standby main. Activate Pot of Extravagance. We draw some kaijus that don't do anything. Set Judgment. Set Judgment. Set Cyclone. Not going to Cyclone Swords because we're not attacking for lethal. And Swords will die on its own. And opponent hasn't activated a Ledger, so we're not under a huge clock or anything. We draw a Curse Seal. Not very good without a spell in hand. Set it so we don't lose it to a reincarnation. Activate Kaiju Slumberth in the deck. Pass the turn. How many swords has our opponent been through? This will be the second one. Opponent activates the Ledger, so pressure's on. We would like to get lethal through before that resolves. We draw an Evenly. Like, Evenly has been very disappointing this match. Opponent loses the swords. Counter on the Ledger. Opponent gives us a bigger monster for no obvious reason. We draw a Lightning Storm. Go to battle. So this our opponent has Storming. Alright, opponent does have Storming Mirror Force. We're going to Solemn that. Opponent's going to Solemn. We're going to Solemn. Do you have a reboot? Negate, negate. Attack goes through. Oh my god, we got there. Okay. Okay, so that was one of the more toxic matches I've played, but we did not OTK that game. That was not even close to an OTK, but we got there. GG, opponent.